back to your Centre for Small State Conservatives, you've got a paper or thumbnail on the culture reset. How can the next sort of wave of MPs work together better than they have done before? Because that's also what Robert Jenrick was speaking about and what he blamed his leave on.
Yeah. So, um, just for the rest of your viewers, um, so if you go to small state conservatives, and you check under policy papers and policy thumbnails, you'll find something about a culture reset for the Conservative Parliamentary Party is what we're talking about here. And the reason why that's really important is that one of the reasons why the voters decided that our time was up at the last general election. It's not the only reason, but one of the reasons was they didn't think that we were working as a team. They didn't think the Conservative MPs were putting the country first, and that they weren't working as a team to do that. Now, there are a number of things that you can do, but anybody who's watching your podcast, Harry, will appreciate that teamwork is something which you can teach people how to do. The teams are forged as much as just sort of done by magic. Um, and lots of companies, lots of sporting clubs, lots of organizations do things very, very deliberately in order to weld people together into effective teams. And the odd thing is that the Conservative Parliamentary Party doesn't do very many of those things that would be normal in companies or in the armed forces or in sports clubs or anything like that. Conservative Parliamentary Party doesn't do very much of that at all. And that's everything from having proper performance appraisals to say if you want to be a senior minister or a senior shadow minister, here's what we've got to see from you. We can help you, we can train you. Here's the things you're good at, here's the things you're bad at. Here's the gaps that we can help you plug. Through to saying, if you don't work as part of a team, then it isn't that. So everyone won't just ignore it. They will say, "Well, I'm terribly sorry, but that isn't good enough." So there's a whole series of things which aren't black magic. They are normal bits of team building things which are absolutely standard and normal in most other organisations, which I just think that the Conservative Parliamentary Party could and should start to introduce. And they aren't radical, but they are just basic common sense. It's about time we got on with it, really.
Do you think this can be implemented in the next wave of MPs, or do you think it would take
Yes,
longer?
yes. Easily. Yes. I mean, I'm hoping that they'll be doing it to with current MPs, not to, but with current MPs as well. But certainly, one of the things which I think a lot of newly elected MPs find odd is that if you've been working if you had a serious career in the world outside, and I hope that most Conservatives who stand for Parliament are good enough to have had a serious career in the world outside in whatever field they began in, you'll be surprised at how little sort of teamwork and collective uh, you know welding together happens when you become an MP. So it would be entirely normal to carry on doing that when you walk through the doors of Parliament on your first day as an elected MP. And most people would regard that as perfectly normal and what they're used to, whether they come from the NHS or from the army or from a law firm or whatever it might be. Um, Most people would regard that as just something which is part of normal life if you've been successful elsewhere.
Is that not part of the selection process? Is there not a sort of camp, the sort of camp the MPs go
Yes, there
on,
is.
kind of?
Yeah, yes. So one of the things which we have always done as a party for as long as anyone can remember is we've always looked for people who can work and play in teams. So it isn't that we are selecting people who aren't capable of it, but you do then, having selected those people who could, when they then turn up, having got elected into Parliament, you need to make sure that they do. And that isn't something which just happens automatically. It's something which any organisation, a company, a charity, a public service can organise for itself, for its staff, and it can organise it well or it can organise it badly. But you're absolutely right to say we are careful to choose people who can work in teams. So let's make sure they do.